Do you ever feel like going back to older games? I've been in the mood to play something Rayman related for a while, but I didn't know what that would be. As I browsed through my options, Origins kept creeping back in my thoughts. My memory of the game was very jaded, but also fuzzy. With Rayman Legends being a thing, I never thought I'd have to go back. But the thought of not remembering if I beat it made me want to revisit it. I forced myself into getting a physical copy of Rayman Origins. I think they gave me the wrong cover art though. It looks a bit different than I remember. By revisiting this game, I figured I'd prove myself wrong. I also wanted to make a proper Rayman video compared to my last one. It's still a good video though, you should definitely check it out. During the beginning of development for Rayman Origins, it was meant to be an episodic game, meaning you would pay for each episode as they were being finished. This team consisted of about 6 developers. The first episode would be released in late 2010. The idea of an episodic game seems a lot like the game industry in recent times, with the mentality of start it now, finish it later. The plan was scrapped after a delay of the promised date. This brand new Rayman title instead got a full release in late 2011. The team grew over 100 through its completion. The game was well received by critics for its beautiful art style and good level design. However, the public just gave it a meh. With 50,000 copies sold in its first month in the US, it was swiftly marked down for its poor performance. Coming back to Origins, I was pleasantly surprised in certain aspects. This game can be more charming in aesthetics compared to Legends. I don't know why, but visually it looks kinda better than Legends 2. It could just be the atmosphere since both games use similar art styles and the same engine. I wasn't ever sure when this game took place. At first, I thought it was a reboot, but then I did some digging. Apparently, it's a sequel set after Rayman 3. Well, that doesn't make much sense when the game doesn't tell you this. Not even a hint. However, I won't argue with the Ray Wiki. This is where I got my information. It states the reason it's called Origins is the design philosophy of going back to the roots of the original. Mr. Dark was meant to be in this as well, who was the original Rayman villain, but was replaced with this reused asset, Teensy. I still believe this is a reboot because the game doesn't do a lot to defend itself. While Rayman 1 was harder than a muscle mommy's bicep, at least it had a story to follow, albeit very simple in nature. There were big stakes at hand with the loss and harmony of the world itself along with its inhabitants. Rayman 2 and 3 built on top of that with heavy emphasis on story and tone, giving good dialogue to its diverse cast of characters. When we get to Origins, well, all of that is gone. Uncooked steaks, no meaningful dialogue, and slapstick. Lots of slapstick.
One where you flip around in CG like.
Oh, I swear to God, if I had my Gwimbly gun on me right now!
The Electoons are back from the first game. Some of the enemies are also redesigned. And who are you? Who are any of you?
Who are you people?
Okay, let's talk about the fairies now. I'm indifferent. The fairies are a bit too endowed. Their in-game species name is called Nymph. However, judging on the new redesign of Patilla, I'm going to assume they chose that word for another reason. Considering a certain branch of that word is a little closer to the actual design and nature, you can tell what they really meant. I mean, listen to their theme song when you save them.
Jim Halpert.
I'm so horny.
Okay, I can't help you with that.
There's a different kind of joy going on there. For a Rayman game, it's a bit much, but they aren't the entire experience. Horniness in a game that shouldn't have it just makes the whole thing feel weird. That's really all I have to say about that. The game overall is pretty solid. I enjoy the gameplay a lot. The platforming isn't quite perfect or even forgiving, but it's still pretty enjoyable. There's not really a whole lot to talk about in terms of platforming that hasn't already been said. It's not too shallow and it adds a lot of creativity to the table. The objectives on the other hand left me disappointed. Trying to get the required amount of lums is a pain. You're always going to be short if you don't penny pinch every lum in the world. Yes, even defeating the enemies twice gives you a lum each. I can't tell you how many restarts it took me to do this for every level in the game. I was so starved from no story that I thought I'd get a little extra something for saving all 246 Electoons. But alas, my efforts were in vain. You get nada, zero, nothing for your effort. The secret ending is just saving the last fairy, nothing else. All the Electoons do is give you skins for characters I genuinely do not care for. Like, who asked to play as these guys? They were funny in Rayman 3, sure, but they just feel like Toad stand-ins for this game. Glowbox is cool, but a bit too goofy for me. I'm sure his hitbox is bigger too. Rayman had meh skin, so I rocked the OG all the way through. You can probably guess that I'm a tad salty I don't have Barbara. There is an old relic that most of you probably may have forgotten. Manuals. I was fortunate enough to be born in a time where they made them. These booklets told you how to play the game. See, you'd read them first on the car ride home, then once you've soaked up enough knowledge of the pages, you'd be a pro at the game. I once learned how to be a master thief. But these magical pages told you more than how to play the game. On rare occasions, there will be those developers that care for their craft and let it bleed into the pages of the manual. Like, look at this! The Metal Gear Solid 2 game had a short little manga in between instructions. Unfortunately, games today do not have this luxury. Remember when I said there was no story? Well, that was half of a lie. The game doesn't have a story anywhere on the disc, but guess where all the story went? Yeah, the manual. Why on earth is the story in the manual? Well, in any case, let's see what it has to say, and it's gone. The internet is a thing, thankfully.
Wow, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
The next day.
The Bubble Dreamer is the creator of the Glade of Dreams as well as everything inside it. Basically God. Where was this guy in the original? Anyway, he is so powerful that any emotion he is feeling in a given moment has a direct effect on the world. Electoons are also vital in this world, forming bridges between its various lands and generally keeping the world in balance. Batilla and her new sisters are known as Batilla and the Bodacious Nymphs of the Glade. Wait, you're telling me this freaky frog dreamed up these fairies to be this thick?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Character from Rayman 2 is responsible for making all the dark tunes, yada yada, confirming Polycus is the Bubble Dreamer from Rayman 2, even though they look nothing alike. Yada yada, Rayman was created from the Bubble Dreamer's first bad dream, but with the assistance of the fairies. The fairies got distracted from zombie chickens and lost a sack of lums. They had fewer lums to fully create Rayman, which in turn made him a limbless hero. You know, I never really cared for this game, but why on earth is this awesome story not in the game? I'm really just disappointed in the whole thing. From all the downs, it has pretty good ups. Almost perfect platforming, charming music, just all around feel good vibes. And then you realize the entire story is on a piece of paper. And I found all of this out after already having most of the script for this video complete. This is like eating the food and then the chef gives you the seasoning after you ate the meal. You can blame me for expecting more from a game that's in a genre where story isn't a main focus. However, it's not my fault for thinking I'd get more from a game that in an E3 trailer showed me a cinematic of Rayman's creation for a game called Rayman Origins. I didn't know the trailer was the only origin story I'd see. If you were to ask me about if you should play this game, I'd probably say no. Even with its artistic design and charm, it kind of feels empty. It feels like something is missing from this experience. Because there is. I was hoping for more of a story, but even the secret conclusion made me feel worse. Although, I am very glad it was made because it spawned one of my favorite sequels of all time. But you could play one without the other since there's little connection between the two. If you do end up wanting to play this, then it is backwards compatible on Xbox and is also on Steam. Unlike Rayman Legends, this game doesn't require the third-party Ubisoft launcher to play. At least that's what I've heard. It also says it incorporates DRM, but no DRM? I don't know what that means. Please do get it on sale though, because Ubisoft honestly doesn't deserve full price. Anyway, I do hope you found some enjoyment out of this video. I know I had fun revisiting this older game. I plan on doing more like this in the future. If this video does decent, I'd love to make a video on Rayman Legends. I want to thank you guys for the support. I know my channel is pretty small still, but it has been growing thanks to you, so thank you. The Sly Cooper fans really came out and showed love to Sly, so I might do more Sly Cooper content in the future. The thing is, I just don't know what kind of video it would be. Anyway, stay tuned for the next couple of videos I have planned. If you like Rayman Origins, then I think you'll like the video I'm working on dealing with platformers. That's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your day.